Hi there, this is Travis. How are you doing? It is January 1st, in case you were sleeping under a rock somewhere, beginning of the new year. And I wanted to do something a little different that I haven't done with this recording. I was thinking about how everybody during this time of year is much more introspective. They're thinking about the year that just got over, they're thinking about what's to come, things they can do better and improve on. And I also was thinking about just wisdom that I learned growing up from both my parents and things that they said over the years that kind of stuck with me. There's some things that are just clear as a bell in your memory of, things your parents said or did, and it rubbed off on you. So I was thinking it'd be cool to just record my thoughts on a lot of things. And I wouldn't dare call it really wisdom, but I guess you could call it that. I'm the least qualified person to give advice to anybody, but I do feel like the amount of trial and error that we go through in our life prepares us and gives us more wisdom. So I just made a list. I was thinking about for my daughter. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a recording of your parents' wisdom, just things that they believed and things to help you along in life? So that was the idea here. So I just made a list of some things that I think are important to lead not only a happy life, but productive and bitter-free existence. So I'll go through and read some of them, and you can listen to them. Maybe they'll help you, maybe they won't. But this is fun for me. So anyway, the first thing I have down, and the most important, and this is something I've struggled with over the for the whole lifetime, is living in the now. I feel like it's such an important thing that people overlook. They're constantly focusing on, bad things that happened in the past or bad things that will happen or could happen. They're so preoccupied with thinking about this time realm that doesn't really exist, that they lose out on the right now moments. And really that's all there ever will be, is right now. There's not the future and the past are fairly abstract concepts. I mean, yes, things did exist before now, but really you're living right now, and that's the way it'll always be. So in my opinion, you can cultivate happiness by being appreciative and grateful for the things that you do have right now, and that for everything that's going right, And 90% of the things that we worry about happening in the future really hardly ever do end up happening. We're always wired to think about the worst case scenario and things, but if you reflect back on those things, the things that you worried about most usually almost never end up happening the way that you think they're going to happen. We're fairly pessimistic in a lot of ways. So living in the now is a big deal, and I struggle with it all the time, but I think it's the most important thing you can do. The other thing that excuse me, I have a little bit of a gravel in my voice, but the other thing that I would advise somebody if they were starting out is to definitely follow the pursuits that you're interested in and you're passionate about, and don't do anything for any other reason, because in my personal experience, I've chased money in careers, and I was the least happy when I made the most money. So there's really not a correlation between money and happiness. I mean, if your needs are met and you've got enough, there's really you're not going to improve on that. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have cool things and, cars and whatnot, but really they don't affect your happiness level. I think time is the most valuable commodity that anybody has. It's super valuable, and I would venture to say that people with the most time are actually the most rich, in my opinion. And people appreciate your time also. So people will appreciate you giving your time to them more than any money. So yeah, that's that. Another thing that I have down is don't get attached to specific outcomes. because things really seldom ever do go the way you think they're going to go. And if you can be more adaptable in an ever-changing world, it'll work to your advantage. Roll with the changes. Something my mom told me one time is you can live a lot more successful life if you try not to pamper yourself. And that always stuck with me because I think I was a bit of I wanted to be pampered. And you kind of got to break yourself of that. Another huge thing for me, and this is something that so much of society focuses on, and I think it's a big mistake, is don't live a life deferred. Do the fun stuff now. There's so many people that are socking away all this money for retirement, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with putting away money for retirement or for when you're older, but people are deferring their happiness and their the quote that I have written down is, it says, I think it was Thoreau, it says, spending the best part of one's life earning money in order to enjoy questionable liberty during the least valuable part of their life. And that makes sense to me. I mean, you're working all these years, you're doing all this drudgery, and it's all for some future hope. And you don't know if that future hope will ever come. Tomorrow is really not guaranteed. So do the stuff that's fun now. If you have an interest or a vocation you're interested in that you're passionate about, do that. And the other thing is take lots of breaks. Have little mini retirements instead of having one big one at the end. Why not space things out? I mean, I know it's not practical for everybody, but to the extent that you could do it, I mean, take breaks and enjoy, like I said before, right now. And people ask me why I travel so much. That's the reason, because I want to get it all done now while I'm actually healthy and able to do it, rather than, waiting till I'm 65 and getting a Winnebago, when I'll probably barely be able to walk up the stairs of it, who knows. But anyway, do the fun stuff now. That's a huge thing for me. Another thing, if there's something big that you want to do or a big change you want to make, one thing is always for sure is the timing will never ever be ideal. Like they said, the stoplights of life will never all be in alignment. So do it anyway. Make if there's a big change you want to do, you should do it and then kind of correct course afterward. Fear is always going to exist prior to any change that you make, but better to subject yourself to that than regret or whatever you want to call it. So what else do I have? I have live simply as something that's rather important. Try to avoid the urge to accumulate stuff, because stuff doesn't really bring any lasting happiness either, and it ends up kind of being a shackle around your feet. All the best moments in life don't really involve stuff; they involve people. So yeah, live simply. Another quote that I have down. It says, the possession of great riches does not resolve the agitation of the soul or give birth to any remarkable joy. And then one other says, on the highest throne in the world, we still sit only at our bottom. No, I got that wrong. On the highest throne in the world, we still sit only on our bottom. That was some French guy, I don't know who. Another thing I have down is invest in people. A handful of true friends can deliver love and respect that even a fortune can't. And people are wired for connection. And it's actually detrimental to your health to be isolated. So, a lot of people have hundreds of acquaintances and all that stuff. But really, if you have a handful of truly good friends, you are better off than a wealthy billionaire who's miserable. So I don't have too much more. The only other last thing that I would leave as advice is that there is no substitute for good sleep. And I know there's some people out there that can deal with 4 hours of sleep a night. I'm definitely not one of those people. I wake up hating the world if I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. So on the other hand, though, when I get a restful full night's sleep, I just get up the next day and I'm stoked and happy to actually get up and leave the house, where without good sleep, I'm basically a jerk. Anyway, that's about all I got. Maybe I'll do this again sometime. But thanks for listening, and I hope all of your wildest dreams, fantasies, and wishes come true this year. And catch you later. Bye.